Oh, well, everybody know who I want next. I want Terrence Crawford next.
You're going to make that happen?
Huh?
You're going to make that happen?
Oh, definitely. That's the fight that I want. That's the fight everybody else want. Like I said, I'm going to get these straps and I'm going to go over there and take his shit too.
All right. Errol, congratulations. Terrific fight this evening.
Thank you, man. Now, strap season, y'all know what time it is, baby. Terrence, I'm coming for that motherfucking belt.
All right.
I'm not catching fades anymore. Gotta keep my hands clean when they come for the ball. Keep it smooth like a dawn, making moves in the dark. Cause I learned how to swim in the pool full of sharks. Now they coaches, cause they can't read all his motions. How the kid never switched codes, but he codes with focus. Staring down your team with a frozen, ice cold look that could end the summer solstice. Cause I'm more like the top dog. Keep on running game and the gang will accost y'all. I be calling plays from a plane while I'm off court. But we ain't the same, you a lame, I'm a mob star. Actually, I'm a top dog on a stat sheet. Off court, but I call plays for the athletes. When the cop cars try to catch me, cause I rolled off in a taxi. Put my feet up, I'm relaxing. Singing Figaro with no accent. While I pull strings from the streets in. Do it all with a straight face, I'm the kingpin. Top dog, top flow, boss mode. I'm the kingpin. Showstopper, top dog, God vibes, I'm the kingpin. They know I'm a dog and a beast, man. Yeah, I keep the peace with a peace, man. I ain't got no time for appeasement. Why would I respond to a pawn? I'm the... Hold up.
If I let my dogs off the leash, then you might want to get out of Dodge by the evening. Honestly, think it's not the blood and the beat. And they don't leave anything behind at the evening.
I can see you soft, ever thought about retreating. If you never have, then they'll give you a reason. Better watch your tone, lose your bass when you speaking. Underneath the mask is the wrath of a... When you learn how to smile in their face, then go cutthroat. Then they wanna call you a con when the blood cold. I remember starving while y'all had a truckload. Now I'm with the mob with the call and the gusto. I'm a top dog on a stat sheet. Off court, but I call plays for the athletes. When the cop cars try to catch me, cause I rolled off in a taxi. Put my feet up, I'm relaxing. Singing Figaro with no accent. While I pull strings from the streets in. Do it all with a straight face, I'm the kingpin. Top dog, top flow, boss mode. I'm the kingpin. Showstopper, top dog, God vibes, I'm the kingpin.
Bro, I've been talking and I ain't even click in. That's how long it's been, goddamn it. I've been talking and shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even click in. But I was talking about giving Vergil Ortiz his flowers, y'all. Let's give Vergil Ortiz his flowers. You know, the man has been taking the challenges at 154, and he's fighting dudes that he's fighting these wood choppers, bro. I wanted to see Errol Spence Jr. break them guys down. I wanted to see Terrence Crawford, which Terrence Crawford had a good fight with Israil Madrimov, right? That was an excellent fight. That was a good fight. You know what I'm saying? Even though we expected Terrence Crawford to do more, man, just look at those wood choppers. They going in there and they taking the fights. That's what I'm talking about. That's it. That's it. That's all. Nothing special. You know what I'm saying? No, you know what I'm saying? Weird shit from the past. We're not expecting Sugar Ray Leonard to come down and bless nobody. None of that shit, man. I'm talking about them boys get in there and they fight, and they're giving them they're bringing the challenge is what I'm saying, and they're bringing a different look, you know what I'm saying, into the ring, and they're making these fighters think. They can't just walk through these guys, and that's what I love about these wood choppers. He says, I was wondering why it was crickets. Yeah, just disappointed with this damn sport, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like I want to see the action fights. I want to see the guys doing like Vergil Ortiz right now, like these wood choppers. They going out, they calling out people. They know who they want to fight. They want to fight the top guys. They're not just trying to pad their records. They're not just trying to, make a bag. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, you can always make a bag. But if you're coming off a controversial win, Tank, I love Tank. And people, you can't criticize Tank or you hate Tank. That's not it. I love Tank. You know what I'm saying? I think he's like a little Tyson, like literally like a damn little Tyson, because he go through so much trouble. He go through the same trouble Tyson go through, women trouble like Tyson. You know what I'm saying? The motherfucker like little Tyson. You know what I'm saying? It's like his whole life is like Tyson. He even got the little bent up eyes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's a bad boy, but he's got to stay focused. But like Tyson, he's unfocused at times. Tyson was unfocused at times, but when he was laser focused, it was hard to beat Tyson. When he was into his training, everything was going right. He would, and sometimes problems can help boxers. Like what's the guy named that knocked out Tyson? He was going through all kind of issues, and he used it to beat Tyson ass. I forgot the dude's name, but you can go through problems and you use it to train and get the inspiration. And I don't see that in Tank. I see Tank just, he just kind of like, hey, I'm tired of the fans. I'm tired of the pressure. I'm tired of everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna, look like every time, you beat one opponent, here comes another. That's boxing, bro. You know what I'm saying? The fans are never satisfied. This is boxing. You're building a legacy. You're building a legacy. You know what I'm saying? You can retire when you want to. You can retire on top. You can retire on the bottom. But if he's going to retire, please go out there and beat Lamont Roach ass before you do. You know what I'm saying? Even if he never fights Stevenson, even if he never fights Stevenson and what's fight a Gary Antoine Russell. Go up there and get you a belt. You know what I'm saying? Do something spectacular before you get up out of here. But he definitely got to beat Lamont Roach, because I think that was a blemish. And to run off and fight Jake Paul is just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got on Tank, man. It's no hate. It's just I want him to get his mind focused back on, beating the competition. That's all. And if he can go out beating on Shakur Stevenson, that'd be wonderful. Win or lose. I don't care who win or lose that fight. You know what I'm saying? I just want to see the fight. You know what I'm saying? This was the thing that was kind of frustrating me, because I got to, y'all don't understand. You got to edit all this shit, you know what I'm saying, on fighters that don't want to fight. You know what I'm saying? You got to try to find story. Man, who wants that, man? It's like, but Vergil Ortiz is fighting the competitive fights. And I want to give him his flowers, man. You know, I don't want to overlook my boy. My boy is going in there banging. I'm talking about, doing his thing. He says, let me see, let's see, retro games. So I don't know why my internet is just a little behind. There we go. Okay, retro game says, it's up from Sunday forcing the future about boxing becoming a show. Yeah, I hate it, bro. He says, agree. Vergil's a warrior. Love it. Love it, man. Give him his flowers, man. Vergil, that them body shots. I mean, he's coming a different. You can see him coming more assertive. I mean, he's always been assertive, but it's just more fine tuned. He's coming more refined with breaking people down. And I just love his spirit. Once he get cracked, what I'm saying, he's coming, man. It's like, I just watched him with Israil, Madrimov, and Bohachuk. I was impressed by those fights. That's what really brought me back, y'all. And that Crawford fight too was good. And I'm like, look at the wood choppers. And then I see Tim Tszyu get destroyed by Bakham, man. Murtazaliev. I was like, oh my God, bro. It's like I'm missing the shit. I got to get back in here. What is going on? You know what I'm saying? I said, I am missing some good fights. I mean, even though I watched them, you know what I'm saying? So I had to get my stream yard and all that stuff back, you know what I'm saying, going. And I was just like, man, we got to get it back going again. So let's get back on the good foot, man. I said Vergil Ortiz carrying boxing on his back. I would have never thought that. I would have never thought that. And Crawford, one fight at 154, that was disappointing. I never thought he'd get that Canelo fight. Now that it's here, we got to take a look at it, man. We got to take a look at it. And really, it's a toss up because we know Canelo, is slowing down. We know that Crawford is a great fighter. We know Canelo is a great fighter, but Canelo don't seem to be, what I'm saying, his old self. And Crawford could take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? Crawford could take advantage of that. It just depends on, whether Crawford can, what I'm saying, if the weight difference, what I'm saying, if Crawford could stay away from him in box, Canelo is cooked. Canelo is cooked. If Canelo can't catch up to Crawford got them long ass arms, and there's just back and forth in the media that Crawford can't take the punches of Canelo. It's a lot of question marks about how it goes. But I guarantee you, we'll be surprised if Crawford stand in the pocket, because Crawford hands is way quicker than Canelo's. And if Terrence Crawford's a tough guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think he'll see those wide shots coming, and I just don't think that Canelo got the skills. So he can definitely hurt Crawford. If he hurt Crawford, Crawford could be done. Crawford definitely could be knocked out by Canelo. But I think that's why he's working with Jerron Boots Ennis, what I'm saying, to look at the tricks and the feints and get used to the timing, what I'm saying, of Crawford. Even though Jerron Boots Ennis fighting nothing like Crawford. But I think it heightens the skill level in the ring. You know what I'm saying? As long as you fighting on a upper, counter punching, and you know what? Jerron is not the best counter puncher. He's not. He's not the best He can counter punch. It depends on what he's focusing on. You know what I'm saying? Because Jerron will go in there and try to knock your ass out and forget about all that shit, and then he be getting hit with overhand rights and stuff like that. So it just depends. Jerron is still putting it all together, even though he's so athletic that and he got so many gifts, speed, power. You know what I'm saying? His defense just need to be tweaked, but he still would raise the bar for Canelo as far as speed, as far as tricks in the ring. He can get him prepared for Crawford, but he can't prepare for Crawford's boxing IQ, because it's not all about just your style. Crawford, you know what I'm saying, he's a good critical thinker in the ring, and Canelo is too. But I think Jerron would give him a different look. You know what I'm saying? A different athletic from an athletic point of view. But you can't really pick Crawford brain because he can do things, in the moment. You know what I'm saying, that other fighters can't do because he is so athletic. And I think that's why he brought Jerron Boots Ennis in. But I don't know about that power. Can Crawford hurt Canelo? That's gonna be something. That's gonna be something to look at. He says, Eric says, I think it's safe to say EJ is done. Yeah, he says he's not, but what I'm saying, he's enjoying all that money he made. He definitely doing that. So I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him, but if he come back, it's gonna be a long road. It's gonna be a long, long road, to get back to the A level. You know what I'm saying? The longer you out, the worse it's gonna be. I heard Jamal Charlo is talking about calling out everybody: Jerron Boots Ennis, Crawford, even Spence, and he haven't even been active. You know what I'm saying? These guys makes one big paycheck and shit. That's why you can't pay niggas no money, man. It's like they get one big paycheck and they gone. They up out of here. Motherfucker taking trips around the world. You know what I'm saying? They never, they get back to the sport 2 years later. They be like, what the hell going on, bro? You coming back 2 years later when you was one of the elites of the sport? You got to keep the fights going until they're just wasting time. Dark Kent says Mel seemed to be sending Errol Fandora and Boots cryptic messages. He's ready to take back the throne at 154. Shit. I don't know how much he got left, Dark Kent. I don't know how much he got left. He said Tank has the polarizing allure of Iverson in boxing. Said he's experiencing the silk sheet side. Yeah, Erica. Yeah, definitely. He got a lot of money, so you know what I'm saying. He's out here. He's out here stunting for all these poor people and shit he grew up with. Willie Williams said who he fought. He says he's experiencing who he fought. I don't know which one you're talking about, Willie. He says Vergil repaired his image. Yes, he did, Eric. Yes, he did. He brought me back, bro. When I saw them fights, man, I was just wow, man. They was exciting as hell. Just the physicality of it, and to see him coming forward, to see them wood choppers fighting back, man. I was like, wow. This is what boxing. If this era could stay like that, this could be one of the best eras in boxing. We need more of this. We need more of these wood choppers come in if they this tough and challenge these guys. You know what I'm saying? Pull them out of that laziness. You know what I'm saying? Pull them out. One thing I could say about Devin Haney. Is that he do take the challenges. He may not can crack an egg. You know what I'm saying? But he's got skills and he's got courage. He's got heart. And that's what I love about. I love fighters with heart. It's not all about the winning. You know what I'm saying? I love to see fighters win, but it's the effort that they put in. It's the confidence that they have in themselves and going out there and taking the challenges. That's what makes boxing fun, man. That's what makes boxing good. He says, I'm going with Canelo. Okay. Yeah, that's a pragmatic choice. You know what I'm saying? Because, Crawford is coming up 2 weight classes and we just do not know how that weight is going to affect him. We just do not know. We can say now, the one thing I can say about Crawford is that he is a well conditioned athlete. He's one of them dudes that go overboard to prepare. He's one of the best people I've ever seen that prepare better than anybody against his opponents. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be interesting to see if he can carry that weight and see if he can set a pace where he could take advantage of boxing, Canelo. Because once he start lunging with them damn hooks, that might be the downfall of Canelo. Because if anybody can time you, Terrence Crawford, he's a sharpshooter. So he can catch you like Roy Jones Jr. Remember how Roy Jones Jr. used to catch motherfuckers with their legs split and he knocked their ass down with a flash knockdown, a couple of flash knockdowns, and they get all desperate, and then they open up, and Roy just knocked their ass out. You know what I'm saying? I could see Terrence Crawford doing that to Canelo, frustrating him. Um, he's not going to be able to do what he did to Jamel Charlo against Bud Crawford. His boxing IQ is just too high. I don't think it's just going to be an overwhelming, because you got to move all that weight. And of course, Canelo, he's going to take his time. He's gonna shell up, what I'm saying, and come forward, take his time, throw minimum punches, and try to land big heavy shots to win the rounds. But Crawford, he's a counterpuncher, so he really don't engage at the beginning. He's throwing jabs, he's trying to scrape you with little shots to make you throw you off balance. And Canelo stays off balance, man. So this could be a wide margin boxing match, you know what I'm saying? Because Canelo just don't have the knees to keep up in a boxing match. But if he get Crawford on them ropes, and he get to that body, then we're gonna have to see a different fight. You know, we're gonna see a different fight. You best believe, if he can get to Crawford body. But I don't think he can get to Crawford. You know, unless he kind of do some different kind of roughhouse tactics on the inside and try to chop him down to the body or something. He says Boots can fight southpaw and capable of mimicking Bud. So he's probably spent a lot of time studying film with Bud being a potential opponent in the past. He said, I thought it was smart on Canelo's behalf. I think so too. I think so too. But I don't think it's so much as him mimicking Bud. What I'm thinking of, see, because Bud, it ain't just how he fights, it's how he thinks in the fight. You see what I'm saying? Because he's able to do what he needs to do. He's so versatile. He's able to switch up, not the counter punching part, but just how he make his adjustments, right? You know what I'm saying? He makes adjustments on the fly, and he's so athletic that he don't have to do all that shit. He could just do what he needs to get done, right? If he see a left jab, a short left jab working with an overhand right, he's gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna mix it up, and once he got you conditioned on that, he's gonna hit you with other shots just to win the fight. You see what I'm saying? So he's got a good boxing mind, you know what I'm saying, and to make different adjustments. He's going to test you, and Canelo just kind of does the same old thing. I think Crawford got different ways to victory than Canelo, because I don't think Canelo can move like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, if this was like maybe 10 years ago, yeah. Canelo probably go in there and knock him out or something. Because Canelo mobility was a lot better, but moving at this weight, people keep saying Crawford is too small, but he walks around at 180. I know that he don't fight at that weight, but he's a really, really well conditioned athlete. And Canelo, he's a well conditioned athlete also. And hopefully, this will be a good, fair fight. Canelo stays off that stuff. Crawford could be in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Because if he's able to keep coming and they put some cortisones in them knees, you know what I'm saying? And he's able to run around the ring, and like one fight Canelo had where he just stood up while his opponent sat down. I'm just like, oh man, it may not be good. It may not be a good look, He says also great for Boots' career to get a once in a lifetime opportunity and experience to help a top guy prepare for a mega level fight. Yeah. And he's gonna get the connections, you know what I'm saying? To get on some cards, you know what I'm saying, to work with some people, because the more you get seen on big fight cards, the more your name gets out there, right? And the more opportunities. If you get on Canelo good side, that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Because now you're going to be looked at from other promoters, other fights that's going to come your way. And I think if you get in with the Turk, you know what I'm saying, he's going to shoot some stuff your way, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's good for Boots, because it put him in the limelight. It steps up his profile, you know what I'm saying? So the world can hear about him and what he's doing, but he needs a big fight too. He needs to jump, there's that Yusum Lima guy. That's really not going to help his career, but I wish he would have stepped it up in the opponent, like maybe fought Erickson Lubin, maybe fight Israil Madrimov. I think he could have started out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they moved him so far down, but I understand getting acclimated. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's some stuff that's off. And I think maybe this training camp will help him stay, kind of skip a few steps, you know what I'm saying, to getting ready for 154 challenges. You know what I'm saying? Getting hit by Canelo probably is a good thing, you know what I'm saying? So he can really get a good feel for what it feels like to feel that 154 power. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's gonna be good for Boots. You know, Boots got a bright future, man. Even if he lose one or two, you can't win them all, y'all. You know what I'm saying? These fighters are not, they're not unbeatable. He says, I'm rooting for Bud. He said, I think he has a mountain of obstacles in front of him. But Canelo don't respect his power. He'll punch with him with which can be all bad for Bud. Yeah, yeah, but that's his only chance though, bro. That's the only way. That's really the only way I see Canelo being able to get to Bud's body. He's going to have, and Canelo got exceptionally quick hands, and so now he seems to be, his tactic is to punch hard, just find single punches, and so he don't tire himself out, so he can like he kind of conserve energy for the later rounds. And with Canelo, I think it's kind of like known that if he win the last two rounds, the last of the fight, the second half of the fight, that he's going to win the fight, right? So all he has to do is look dominant for 3 or 4 rounds at the end, and coming forward throwing bolo punches, and what I'm saying, once he wears you down, what I'm saying, like Callum, like he did Callum, like he did so many, they just fold, because they can't take those bombs, you know, and that's why he like fighting those guys that's moving up too, because they can't the stamina of moving up really takes over in the fight. And Canelo, he's just sitting there waiting on their ass to slow down. He says Canelo won't win because he's a better fighter. He said, I think he will because he's an accumulative or acclimated and active. Yeah, active 168 fighter. Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. That's what everybody's saying. But man, we're gonna see if Bud is a different breed. Everybody say Bud is a different breed, and he's, when you have great fighters, because fighters of the past, what I'm saying, went up weight divisions, what I'm saying, and fought in two, and then went back down. You know, all throughout history, you've had fighters go up and down in weight, and until their bodies just couldn't do it anymore. Uh, Maybe Bud is one of those type of fighters. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he can get it done. Just for one fight. Roy Jones Jr. went up to heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? And he was able to perform well, but after that, it was finito for him. It was really bad. You know what I'm saying? Stripping off all that muscle to come all the way back down, and it's easier to gain weight and muscle than it is to lose it. You know what I'm saying? Still have kind of the same kind of skills and craft. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see. You know what I'm saying? But I do think Bud got something. He's got something cooking. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think Canelo understands too how to push fighters that move up too. So make them work. He says Bud is about to whip Canelo with his slow ass feet. Yep, yep. He said, JR in the building. What's going on, JR? He says, what's going to happen if Crawford is successful to Canelo body? That's going to be interesting. If he can hurt Canelo, but Canelo got a beard on him, man. He's a little, those little compact people, those little thick ass tree trunk body built people. You know what I'm saying? It's I don't know. Can you imagine? Can he like really, the body shots, what I'm saying? Crawford is such a sharp shooter. He don't just throw punches everywhere. You know what I'm saying? He's going upside the head. He's gonna have to hit Canelo with something that he don't see, and it's gonna have to be consistent. Because Crawford don't have like no one punch knockout power. You know, So, but then Canelo is so damn quick with the counter punching. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But if Bud can get some respect in the ring, man, it's going to be a whole different fight. If he could, if Canelo has to look out for Bud counter punching, and if he has to respect Terrence Crawford's power, because Canelo, he'll take a couple on the chin. He'll bounce it off his head just to get in that hook to the body. And but I don't think Crawford's going to be there for that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very, very interesting fight, because you just got so many floating ideas of what could happen in the fight. And we've been watching these fighters for years, and every time you watch a fight, the shit don't go the way you think in your head. Sometimes it does, but most times it don't. Um, but because I would be surprised if Crawford stood there right there like Floyd did. Maybe he studied that Floyd fight and just box Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Even though Canelo has picked up a lot from Mayweather over the years, that's the funny thing about Canelo. All the Mexicans hate Mayweather, but Canelo tries to box just like Mayweather. He tries the head movement, the feints. You know what I'm saying? The distance control and all that. He tries to do everything. He learned a lot from Mayweather fight, man, because he definitely got schooled. And they keep calling, you know what? And they keep calling the man, telling me he was a baby. He had more fights than Floyd. And when he was 23 at the time, I believe, calling him a baby. That dude had 40 fights. You know what I'm saying? It's like they got cognitive dissonance, anything to diss Mayweather. And Mayweather was 36 years old. So to me, it's just funny. It's just funny the way they just overlook what the hell they want to. No, your boy just got his ass whipped. And Floyd gave him the choice. So do you need a couple of more fights? No. He threatened to walk off from the tour, from the promotions and everything, if he wouldn't give him the fight. So Floyd said, "Okay, you want your ass whipped? Here we go." You know what I'm saying? And he gave the man the chance. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the rest is history. You know, he says, let me see. Willie says, he says, "I think Canelo can cut off the ring and make Crawford fight his fight. We'll see." You know what I'm saying? Because Crawford is a slippery, he's a slippery guy. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to lean in. You know what I'm saying? Take that lick and circle back to the center ring. Canelo ain't so devastating where he's just gonna box you in. Fighters just let Canelo do that shit. Um, but if he hit Crawford on the chin, like Bear says up here, let me see what Bear said. Bear says if he hit Canelo, if Canelo hit his ass on the chin, boy, I just want to see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Because ooh, that's gonna be, But I seen Madrimov hit Bud on the chin, and he took it well. He said Bud chin is not gonna hold up. That would be the problem. We're gonna see. He says salute pool. He said I wouldn't say Crawford has way faster hands at 168. He said is a new fighting weight for Crawford. I said I don't care if he'd have that same speed. He said Canelo does have speed, especially when he starts torquing shots. I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? But I just think coming from the smaller weight classes, it's going to be night and day. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be night and day. Canelo came from the lower weight classes, so that's why his hands are still fast. You know what I'm saying? So even though he's acclimated to the weight, I think Crawford knows how to pace himself. When we talk about the great ones, they can adapt. It's not about just the physical, it's the way their mind works. You know what I'm saying? They know how to figure these things out. Sometimes, sometimes it's conscious and sometimes it's innately, right? So when you talk about the great fighters, they just could feel their way through, right? Because it comes so natural to them, right? Because they've been, think about how many years Crawford has been running the pace of fights, and he's not intimidated of Canelo. He think he's better than Canelo, so he's not intimidated by what Canelo brings, right? So I could see Crawford. He's going to just be able to think clearly, and a clear thinking Crawford is a dangerous Crawford because he could do what he want to do in the ring. Now, if Canelo power, greatness, if he there's a lot of things that can happen. If Canelo catches Crawford, that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? But to outskill Crawford, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. He's not gonna be able to outskill him. You know what I'm saying? He said to tell the truth, Canelo seems tailor made for Crawford, speed and quickness, but I don't see Crawford going up and weight winning against a skilled big man like Canelo. All due respect to Crawford. Yeah, conventional thinking would make you think, coming up 2 weight classes, he's just not going to be able to last stamina wise. But we talk about Terrence Crawford here. Like I said, that conditioning, that craziness that he has, that competitive craziness, I think it's going to come into play. You know, I think it's going to come into play. I just think he wants to upset the apple cart. And when you start talking about a fighter's heart on top of that, man, that's gonna be a hell of a fight now that I think about it. He says Canelo has stamina. That's I know, JR. They forget, but then he has stamina problems, and then he don't have stamina problems. You know what I mean? It's like that. That's the thing that's plaguing boxing on the backside. Who's cheating? This is the one time I hope that Victor Conte has given Terrence Crawford some good shit to match whatever Canelo's probably taking. You know, it's going to be fight of the steroid monsters probably. He says, Eric says Bud has IQ. He says the corner and reach advantage. Yes, he does. You know, he don't. If he uses that reach effectively, they're going to say he's running. I can already see the commentators. Saying, anytime a boxer don't stand in front of another fighter unless it's a wood chopper, they're gonna say he's running. And they're gonna try to start framing the fight for Canelo. You know, even though Canelo just be chasing people around, just walking around the ring. You know what I'm saying? He says Canelo has the mass, the activity, and the power advantage. Yes, I agree with that. He says when he fought Floyd, Canelo was 40-0. He says and had been fighting for 8 years. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, it's just that they give it's just so biased the way they try to they just hate Mayweather so much and that he beat the game. They want to bring him down any way they can. Now, I understand Mayweather's a jackass. He is, but he earned it. You know, he came through when everybody was up on the Golden Boy, and they shitted on him in fights when he wasn't even fighting. Even when Roy Jones was fighting, they'd be shitting on Mayweather. They'd be shitting on Roy Jones Jr. in the comments. Commenting. Larry Merchant and what's the other one name? Uh, uh, I forgot what the other guy name was, but he shits on him to the day. They hate him. I mean, they're not even really that active when it comes to commentating, but they shit on him anytime they can. He said the biggest question is, can Bud take his shots? Can he carry 14 more pounds for 12 rounds? And can Bud take away things that Canelo likes to do? Bud definitely can take away. He definitely can, because Canelo can't move like that. What's going on, 2 cents in the building? What's happening? He said Crawford didn't ask for any weight clauses, unlike Canelo did when he fought bigger guys. Nobody talks about that, and they're not going to talk about that because the propaganda is all about it's in the image of Canelo. It's a Canelo train out there. Jim Lampley, yeah, man, that dude needs to go sit his ass down. Propaganda man, that nigga like what was the Hitler propagandist, Google's something like that. His minister of propaganda. That's Jim Lampley right there, the minister of propaganda. He says, Suleiman, let me be known that they don't test Canelo for Complitera anymore because of Mama Alvarez stakes. I mean, bro, they lay it down. So they lay the path down, the red carpet down for Canelo so much, man. it's like they just paid the wage to cheating. You know what I'm saying? But it's not even cheating anymore. You know what I'm saying? They just, hey, they might as well just say, man, he took a couple of computerol this morning, and it's good. Everybody should drink a cup of computerol. You know what I mean? It's like he just normalized everything. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. What's going on, Mr. Jannard Hill? What's happening? He said, salute, Pool, kind of welcome back. He said, I think if Bud is doing 15 to 20 rounds with Steven So-Called Nelson with the new extra weight, his conditioning should be optimal. He said, also, So-Called is bigger than Nello. Yeah, I mean, and that's something that fighters do. It's just that he's got to be careful. Don't spar too much, because that's really what takes it out of a lot of fighters. With the Aerosmith Jr., Jamel Charlo over sparring. So you just gotta, but I think Bud is one of the best people that prepares for fights, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. They were talking about, Shakur Stevenson being in his camp. I was like, what? Why do they even care about that kind of shit? I guess they're just looking for stories or whatever. But the chest of the entire fight is going to be interesting. I think Shakur Stevenson can help in that way because of the speed, because of the defense, because Canelo is a slippery head mover. You know what I'm saying? So I think, but that's Crawford's game though. So I don't think that's going to throw him off that much, and he's not going to be able to lure Terrence Crawford in off balance. You know what I'm saying, to get to his body. So I think it's going to be a highly defensive fight for Crawford until he sees, those openings, until he sees Canelo making mistakes. And once he start that lunging, he's going to have some good opportunities to catch Canelo. If he catch Canelo on that front foot, Canelo, once he get on that front foot, Crawford got quick jabs, got long arms. So he's going to lose some rounds. He's going to lose some early rounds, man. Unless it's going to get to the point where Canelo just going to have to go for it. He says, Jamil says, Canelo punched him in the shoulder and it shook his feet. Man, I was so disappointed 2 cents about Jamil, man. His performance, and he was just trying to survive, and after a while, some of what Canelo's gonna do. I mean, it's like he didn't even study Canelo. I'm surprised by that, and looked like he just went in there to make a bag and not get knocked out. Really, to tell you the truth, and the way he was talking before the fight, he was talking all that shit when he was at 154. He was undisputed. But then once he got the fight, he started like, I'm just happy to be here. He's swimming. He's going home from training camp, saying not locked in. I was like, man, it's just a damn shame. Just a damn shame. I just knew he was going to go in there with that same old bullshit. He says, Arrow first, yeah, man. Yeah, man. I tell you the truth, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to see it, because two brothers fighting from the same stable. I kind of want them to I want to see Errol at 154. I want to see him fight a couple of fights and then maybe fight Charlo. And Charlo, the same thing. I want to see him fight. Whatever happened to the Castano? I mean, Castano was a bad motherfucker. Fight somebody like that. Fight one of those couple of those wood chops. See where they at. You know what I'm saying? I understand that they're trying to make money, but they should have did it at the top of their game, not at the bottom of their game. You know what I'm saying? Who wants to see that fight? They both been out for about a couple of years now. Yeah, they got to get their fighting. They got to get their feet wet back into the game before anybody really start checking for them again. Both of them, my boys. Don't get me wrong. You see the intro, so don't stop playing with me, right? So them both of my boys, but I just want them to get their feet wet back into the game, and I heard that Earl Spence Jr. is sparring. He started back sparring, but of course we know Errol Spence Jr. and sparring that don't go together that well too much. You know, he gets hurt in sparring, going too damn hard, and that's what I meant by Bud Crawford. But Bud Crawford is experienced, and he's more of an expert when it comes to preparing for fights. So you know what I'm saying. I doubt that's going to happen. He has more of a better system. He said he still takes glutarol. The WBC raised the limit specifically. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that just sickens you, doesn't it? He says, "Full counter, do you think Bud's sparring partner, so-called Stevenson Nelson, punched harder than Canelo?" I don't know, bro. You know what I'm saying? But even if it does, it's helping. It helps Bud to acclimate himself, and he took a year. He took a year to acclimate himself. So hopefully that'll be enough. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about what 12 rounds of hard punching, but then you got to connect. You know, you can't hit what you know, if you can't hit the fighter, then, you know, none of that power really matters. We see it all the time in boxing. So if Bud get in there and he can move around for 12 rounds with all that weight on him, it's going to be an easy fight for Terrence Crawford, and we might be surprised. You know, we just might be surprised, and then we'll have to look at Bud a lot differently than what you know how we've been in the past. If he goes in there, he just handle Canelo power. You know what I'm saying? Just dodging and countering, and you know what I'm saying. Then we see Canelo starts to be apprehensive about punching. Then we know Bud has some punching power. He said, Bud is going to have to be damn near perfect against Canelo to get the victory. Oh, come on, Ken. It's more of a political thing. He doesn't have to be perfect. He just have to land a few hard shots, you know, each round, and then they'll give it to him. That's just the politics of it. He says, I've never seen two of my favorite fighters fight each other. Oh man, I'm trying to think since you said that. Since you said that, two of your favorite fighters. That's true. I'm trying to think. Two of your favorite fighters fighting. Yeah, yeah. Damn, two cent. You always be on. You always find that little groove. Yeah, two fight your favorite fighters. Well, when I think about that, I have to think about the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm saying? Because you know I respected Cotto, and what's his name? Amaretto. Well, I forgot how to say it. Man, I be forgetting these fighters' name. I done seen so many goddamn fights. Um, I have to think about the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans. You know, so some of them had some of the best top matchups, and those are some of my favorite fighters, like Oscar De La Hoya. You know what I'm saying? He fought, you know, when he fought Sugar Shane Mosley. Um, those two of my favorite fighters that I could think of when I think about Arturo Gotti and what's the white boy he fought? See, but I got so many damn fights to try to think about. But I've seen a lot of my favorite fighters go against each other, but um, they were of other races. You know what I'm saying? Not too many black fighters that fought each other that were my favorites that fought each other. You know, but when you talk about Mexicans, Hispanics, I mean Mexicans and Puerto Ricans or whatever, yeah, yeah, I've had some good top matchups in there. Sabri Matias, he's becoming a fan favorite of mine. You know, what I'm saying even though he's beatable, I love his style. You know, what I'm saying I love how he tried to go for the best. Um, um, yeah, that's a damn good point. That's a damn good point. But I don't want to see them fight because I'll be pissed to see how you know whoever wins, I'll be mad with them. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, even though you know I'm going to root for Earl, you already know. You already know I'm rooting for Earl, man. You know I want to see Earl. He only lost one fight. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And I know it was a massacre and everything, but he only lost one fight. You know what I'm saying? But he been through so much over the years, you know what I'm saying? And you know, a fighter gets worn down, you know what I'm saying, by what he's been through in the ring and outside the ring. So I'm pretty sure he's trying to take his time to heal and see what he got left, you know. I just hate for him to go out there against like a Fundora, and Fedora just loom his ass, you know what I'm saying? And he has to go sit his ass back down. And I said, I hate to see that. He says Bud is going to need to bank in majority of the round to avoid to get KO'd. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. Um, but that's a good strategy, just to box. He's going to have to mix it up at least once or twice. Maybe Canelo power, because Canelo don't have people act like Canelo's Mike Tyson. They act like he's what I'm saying, he's the biggest puncher in boxing history. He is not. What I'm saying, he's an accumulative puncher. Just like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? You can't just sit on the ring ropes waiting for Canelo to hit you to the body. You know what I'm saying? So I think Terrence Crawford has a higher boxing IQ than that. The only way he's going to allow Canelo to do that is, what I'm saying, if that weight, what I'm saying, is too much to overcome, right? Because you can already see the first 4 rounds is going to be Crawford's. First 4 rounds is going to be Crawford. And even though Crawford starts slow, I just don't think, and Canelo starts slow too. So all Crawford has to do is keep that jab on him, move, what I'm saying, wait for the mistakes, what I'm saying. Canelo is going to come to him. That's his thing. He's trying to pressure fight. He's trying to press everybody out of there. You know what I'm saying? So, he's going to try to do that lunge. He's going to try to back Crawford into the corner, and he's going to try to trick him. You know what I'm saying? Is he going to go up top? Is he going to go to the bottom? Is he going to go to the hip? Is he going to go to the arm type shit? He's not going to be able to hit Crawford with none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 1 or 2 times. He's not going to be able to do that shit. Crawford's too smart for that. Most fighters crumble under pressure. Now, if he can get to Terrence Crawford's jaw by backing him up, pressuring him, faking like he's going to the body, come over the top and catch Crawford like that, then it could be a problem. It could be night. Or come with the left, trick him, feint with the right, come up with the left and catch Crawford. I think that's the only way Canelo is really going to be able to like KO Crawford or get him hurt to the point where, say he could viciously, destroy him. He's not going to be able to beat on Terrence Crawford arms like that. Crawford stays back too much. He stays back. He'll take a punch to circle out the corners, you know what I'm saying? And Canelo's not going to be able to trick him, with a punch while he's circling out. Crawford has got defense. And he's a minimalist when it comes to, catching punches and stuff like that. So he's a real intelligent guy, And a Canelo, he's smart and crafty, but I think they're both equal when it comes to that. I think Crawford may be just a little bit more trickier, maybe a lot more versatile. You know what I'm saying? A lot more versatile when it comes to that. Canelo's definitely, if he connects, it's going to be night. He says, what I'm saying? Because once he gets you drunk, it's like, damn, it's going to be a wrap. He says, Poole, who's your pick with Norman and Haney? Ooh. Whew. Haney can outbox him because Haney don't fight on the inside. This gonna look like, I think it's gonna look like Shakur and Santos. I think it's gonna look like cool, not as bad though. I don't think Haney moves as much as well, he kind of does, but he don't move as well as Shakur when it comes to his defense. But he's gonna box. He's gonna box Norman. Power, both hands, good inside fighter. But can he pursue? Is he good at pursuing? It's gonna be good, but I think Haney will get Norman because Haney is not gonna fight Norman fight. And I don't think Norman has enough skills to make Haney fight his fight. You're gonna have to come in for Haney to lose that. He's gonna have to come in on Norman, or he's gonna have to do the same shit he did against Ryan Garcia, right? If he does that, yeah, he'll get knocked out. But I think he's gonna fight him like he fought Regis. That's what it's gonna look like. I think it's gonna be like Regis. If he fought like he kind of fought very apprehensive in his last fight, Devin Haney. They're gonna be talking shit about him running, stuff like that. But that's the only way he can fight. That's his fighting style. He's a pure boxer. I mean, he can outbox you. That's really all he can do. He can't knock you out. Same with Shakur. They can't knock you out, so they got to box you. So I think he's gonna win a boxing match against Brian Norman. He's not gonna engage Brian Norman like that because Brian Norman could get your ass up out of there, and Haney's aware of that. We've seen what Haney looked like when he matches power, and it's not good. So, but I don't think Brian has the versatility to catch up with Haney, and he's gonna be calling him all kind of shit in the ring, and but I don't think he can control Haney's pace. Haney's got them legs, he's got them wheels, man. You know what I'm saying? So I think that'll get Haney back on the A track train. You know what I'm saying? If he beats Brian Norman and he gives a great performance, but who's the fighter who got the power, the fighter that's going to be Norman. He's got that power. Um, I really haven't seen enough from Norman to say that what I'm saying, even though everybody talks good about him and talks about his power and talks about his versatility, I want to see it against an A-list fighter like Haney, and this will tell us more about what Brian Norman can do. Even though I think I've heard about the sparring, I heard about the Bud debacle, how he hurt Bud in training. I've heard these things, but when I seen him fight, I was like, this dude hurt Bud. This the dude that running people out of sparring camps, and maybe it's something I don't see. Maybe he's way better than I'm thinking, but that's the beauty of it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's a problem for Devin Haney. He don't know how good this is. The world don't know how good Brian Norman is, and this might be his come out fight to show the world that shit, indeed, he is the man. Um, if he could pursue Devin Haney, trap him, you know what I'm saying? It's night night for Devin. It's night night. If he's better than what we think he is. But like I said, I haven't seen enough of Brian. I've seen um, basically most of his fights, but I haven't seen the A-list opponents. Like if he fight a Shakur, or if he fight like somebody of an upper level type of fighter, fight a Jerron Boots Ennis, because I heard that they was talking about fighting and everything, and you know, he just never got the big fight, so I could see kind of assess where he really is in this boxing game. But I think he's top up there. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how good he is. You know what I'm saying? But Devin would outbox him if he's just the way in my mind that I think of Brian from what I've seen of him. I think Devin Haney would outbox him. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say he'll outbox him easily. I think he will get some good licks in on Devin, but Devin got them wheels, man. But Devin got to keep fighting, man. He can't be out here playing. He can't be out here, saying taking time off. Um, he's one of them fighters that got to stay on top of his shit, or he's gonna take another L. He's gonna take another L if he don't. He says, if Norman knows how to cut the ring off on Devin, Devin's going to bed. Man, why you trying to do Devin like that, Dark Kent? And you could be right, though. That's one thing about it. You might be right, but I gotta see it. I gotta see it, Kent. I gotta see it. Um, Devin's skills might be a little off. They might be a little off, you know what I'm saying? Because he's just taking too much time off. And that's what's really gonna hurt Devin, taking this time off. This time off is killing the sport. It's killing the fighters. Um, it's killing the fighters. This time off, they got to work their way back. You know what I'm saying? They be rusty. That's a problem. That is a problem. What did somebody say? Two sisters said Norma hyped up pool. He said, I think Devin beats him. And that's big coming from two cents. Y'all, that's big coming from 2 cents. It really is because that's big. So he ain't hurt. He ain't hurt, but that's big. It's good to be back, y'all. Let's see. He says Norman is the most dangerous fight at 147. Yeah, but I'm not sure about his IQ though. We got to see more. We got to see more. We can't just see. Once a fighter passed the eye test, but these guys are just, their competition is still low. Even Boots, the competition is not it's not high enough. You know what I'm saying? We got to see them fight on the A-listers. Once I see them fight like a A-lister, yeah, yeah. He says Rolly beat Norman. It says Rolly could be. You know, you see Rolly beat Norman, and then you see Pitbull Cruz beat Rolly. So Styles still make fights. He says this is Devin's second fight this year. You know what I'm saying? Um, is it? Let me see. Cause is that who the hell that? Let me see. Like, damn. Let's see. Who the last person Devin Haney fought? Let's see. Haney. Box rec. Let's see. The fuck, man. It's like, really? Let's see. His last fight was Jose Ramirez. Yeah. That's the one where he was looking all in Ryan Kerr. Wait a minute. He only had one fight this year, dog. He only had one fight this year. Come on now. You know we got box rec. Come on now. It's like, y'all stop saying shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he fought, Ramirez, where he was looking all timid. Yeah, he fought him in May. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. He only had one fight, dog. You know what I'm saying? So, but taking all that time off. But you know what though? I have to say, he took a bad beating. And so he needed that time. He took a bad beating from a cheater, but I'm not gonna get into that 2 cents. I'm not gonna get into that, you know. He says, he said we can't unsee we can't unsee the right. Yes, we can because that motherfucker was on PEDs, bro. He said we can't unsee the Ryan Garcia fight, and we know Bill ain't no Bill Becklicek in my Timothy Timothy that boy Timothy Bradley is coming into a whole new zone from being a hater to just being a pretty good analyst and stuff. We know he knows his boxing. Him and Paul Malignaggi, if they just their personalities just suck. You know what I'm saying? But they know they boxing. They do know they boxing, and they bias as fuck. It says 154 is loaded. Yes, that's why I'm talking about it. Dark Kent, I love it. I love it. It brought me back. He said, "What's going on, Master Khalid in the building? Oh, we about to build it. We about to get it. We about to get it going. We about to get it back going." He says, "Ramirez, yeah." And so Ramirez was a disappointment too. He went and got married. He said, once these boxers start getting laid, it's over. It's over. Once they start getting laid and settling down, it's over. Long as they mad and training, it's all good. But once, I think Ramirez got married and it was a wrap. He says, Devin was auctioning for Dancing with the Stars in that fight. I wanted him to, man, it was a frustrating fight to watch. You know what I'm saying? I wanted him to unleash them hands, but he was just being so careful. And I understand. But, just like Roy Jones after he got knocked out, you know what I'm saying? It's like they'd be afraid to let them hands go. You know, it's like, it's just a mental psychological thing once you get knocked out. But I think he responded better than most. I think he'll be back and hopefully he won't be as tentative to throw them hands. You know what I'm saying? Because he got the fast hands. Let's see it. You know what I'm saying? But it may take him a couple of fights. He said, okay. He said, and Norman will be his second fight this year. And yeah, it's all I'm saying, okay. Yeah. I just want to see all the fighters. It's not just about Devin, JR. It's all the fighters. They take it too long, what I'm saying, to get in the ring. And I'm not saying if you had a fight where you get all busted up, but these fighters that are not taking as bad a punishment, they could get bad. Look up Dula Mason. I know he's not fighting the top guys, but you could see he's hungry and he's building his career. And I want these fighters to continually to build their careers, you know what I'm saying? And build a legacy, win or lose. Even if you get out there and you lose, look at Ortiz, he's out there putting on performances after performance, you know what I'm saying? And that's what keep the fighter, the fight fans looking for you and paying for tickets, because they know you're going to get in there and they know you're going to put on the show. A lot of people hated Oscar De La Hoya, but one thing you knew about Oscar De La Hoya, he was coming to tear ass up, you know. He was coming in there to fight, you know. Full concept. Do you agree Sabrina Matia has a fighting style like Jared Hurd? Hell no. I mean, I don't think nobody. Let me see who's got a fighting style. Jared Hurd fights with his face. He fights with his face. Do Sabrina have bad defense at times? Yeah, yeah. He's a pressure fighter. He likes to get into dog fights. You know what I'm saying? He's that mono type of dude, but not like Jared Hurd. Jared Hurd he's a football player with boxing gloves on. Um, Hurd he takes so many punches that he just had a short shelf life, because he was just getting hit too much, man. After a period of time, your body just can't take it anymore. And he was just outlasting opponents. And then it's questionable, was he taking anything? Because he had to turn down certain fights when it was testing and all that kind of thing. Um, but Jared Hurd was my boy. I really did like him, but he just took too much punishment. I don't think Matia, I think he has a lot more skills than Hurd. Um, he has a lot more skills than Hurd, but his defense can be a lot better. He takes some hellacious shots. That boy Peblo is bad motherfucker, bro. I mean, that boy is very hard to hit. Um, I mean, I love his style. He's yeah, I think he's underestimated at 140. I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for. If you go back and look at that fight, man, Peblo was putting it on. He was throwing some shit at Sabri, but Sabri was he's just a tank. I don't know how long he's gonna be able to last with that style. He's kind of like an Aerosmith Jr., but Spence had a little bit better defense. But all that running forward into the storm and just swinging and throwing hooks and what I'm saying, just going for it. That's why he's fun to watch. But he did get his ass cracked a few times. He did get his ass cracked. He says agreed. He says Ryan and Teo both ducked fights with Devin. Yeah. Yeah, Tio is I ain't even gonna say it. Yeah, I'm so sick of Tio, man. He's like a car sales, like a used car salesman, and then he likes to troll and all kind of stuff. He's hanging out with trolls, internet trolls, and it's like he just don't know what he want to do, man. It's like he's just the biggest F nigga I ever see. He says, can I get into you? Say I can't get into the UK boxing like that. They're just not that good to me. Yeah, yeah. I've always said that on my channel too. Since they had a few like back in the day, the Eubanks, what I'm saying, Nigel Ben, the Bens. You had a lot of good fighters. I forgot. You had a lot of great fighters over there in England during the Roy Jones Jr. period. Had a lot of good English fighters, but no, not now, not so much now. You know, it says he says they running the HW the heavyweight division. They running And yeah, I can't. I don't even talk about goddamn heavyweight fights. You know the way they've whitewashed the heavyweight division. It's really ridiculous. You know, and then we don't have America don't even have any great heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? People are just opting out of the heavyweight division. Besides Wilder, uh, you know, they anytime we do come up with a great heavyweight, they try to freeze them out. Um, when Wilder was in his prime, they froze him out. A lot of that stuff. Nobody wanted to face him, and they waited till he got onto the second half of his the backside of his career to and then when we do get one, they start doing all these tricky things, you know what I'm saying, with the water, and they start doing all kind of stuff, man. It's ridiculous the way they hated Wilder, the way they did Wilder, and the way they kept AJ away from Wilder. So I all that just kind of like just got under my skin. Um and they just never straight up, you know. It's always about some tricky way to keep Wilder from getting the belts. And Wilder should have been undisputed champion. You know, he should have had all the belts, win or lose. You know what I'm saying? And they let certain fighters get away with cheating, and and because they don't want an American heavyweight champion. Um, so, the system definitely is rigged against America. I think. You know. He said they just reported today that Keyshawn is T.O. Manchester. Yeah, I saw that. I read that. I read where they said that, but Keyshawn, maybe that's why T.O. sent that compliment. Maybe that's why he sent that compliment Keyshawn way. And Keyshawn ate it up. You know, he's a really ignorant boy, isn't he? He's pretty ignorant. You know, for him to, I think it's something about having great skills as a boxer and being ignorant. You got to be ignorant, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is about, just being ignorant and having them hands. I don't know what it is. He says they never wanted Al in charge of those belts at yeah, heavyweight. Yeah, definitely that 2 cents. You know. Um, Keyshawn could be something. He could be something. He's just so full of himself. And there's nothing wrong with being full of yourself, but you you got to be able to control your emotions. You got to be able to control, what I'm saying, your image. They need PR teams. He needs to stop bucking his eyes and just get more serious. Get more serious about where he want to go. Cut out the bad influences in his life, and just eat, drink, boxing, stay in the gym, stay away from all these little knuckleheads that he grew up with, trying to be, uh, you know, a leader of these knuckleheads, and just concentrate on his career and fight the fights. I think he would change his image around overnight, but because he wants to be in the limelight, he wants to be, this showboater, it's just over the top. It's just he need to pull back just a little bit, because now you got the Abdullah Masons, you got the Criminal Motons, you got all these younger guys that's coming up under him. That's who people want to see because they're not talking all that shit and not fighting nobody. You know what I'm saying? He needs to fight one of them. He needs to fight a Shakur, and I know he's not going to fight Shakur. Uh, he needs those names. You know what I'm saying, to take him seriously. He needs no name. He needs those names. Mr. Hill says, he says, Fukan, have you ever seen a heavyweight fighting under Golden Boy? Dude can fight. He just fought a few weeks ago. He's a Black American heavyweight. I gotta look it up. What's his name? Look up his name for me so I can research him and see what's going on, what's to him, check out his fights and stuff. He says, because I really haven't been checking for the heavyweight division, man. It's like I just hate looking at Usyk face. He says, Shakur says, Keyshawn's been knowing he was fighting Tio and Keyshawn hang with Bud's crew, of course. Yeah, that's where he learned. That's where he learned a lot of his shit from. Bud sparring Bud. Uh, Antoine. Let's see. So Antoine Russell versus Richard Hitchens Hitchens next year. Hell of a style makes fight matchup. Yeah, Hitchens Hitchens. Oh man, I don't know how long he's gonna last. I've seen him almost taken out by B-rated boxers. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. He said his weight was off or something. He had rehydrated wrong. I forgot what the little white boxer name was, but I almost took his ass out um, before he grabbed the belt. Um, or was that the belt? Was that I don't know. He just seemed like he's just a little weak, what I'm saying? And I think Antoine Russell would handle him, but then I thought about El Rayo and Pitbull Cruz. So that, if the fight go like El Rayo and Pitbull Cruz, what I'm saying, it could very well be one of those kind of fights because, Russell got to get out of that lunging shit and get back to the basics, and do some boxing and come behind a jab, and have some defense responsibility. Although I don't think Richard Hitchens he can't crack an egg. So I don't think he's going to respect Hitchenson's power. He's gonna go in there. He's gonna beat the shit out of. He's gonna beat the shit out of Hitchinson. Yeah, he's gonna beat the shit out of Hitchinson. He said, "I would put Tio over Keyshawn." Hmm. At this point, because Keyshawn mind don't seem to be locked in right now. I think a locked in Keyshawn would beat Tio, but one thing about it, Keyshawn haven't had enough big fights right now to face a Tio. But one thing we know about Tio is that his confidence wavers. His confidence wavers. If the fight ain't going his way, he loses. He loses power. You know what I'm saying? He start doing the same shit over and over. Uh, once the fight start going his way, uh, if he fights Keyshawn, experience is going to be a problem for Keyshawn. He needs to take a couple of good big fights. If you don't to fight Tio, um, he's moving up to 140. Maybe fight a Sabri. I think he'll beat Sabri Matias. I think he'll beat Richard Hitchson. I think he'll beat those guys. He get those two fights. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll beat Tio easy. But I think he needs some big ring experience. Even though he he's always had the spotlight on him, but or fight Andy Cruz. I think fight Andy Cruz. That's your rival. You know, that's the guy you should be preparing for. But he don't seem to be interested in fighting Andy Cruz. That tells me a lot about Keyshawn character. He says Errol and Charlo showing them fuck that fake shit. They just want who's the big dog in Texas. So that's where I live. Who's the big dog in Texas? He says, I told you Jared Anderson was food for. Oh, he said, I told you, Jared, man. Hey, bro. Hey, I'm trying to tell you, bro. I was so saddened by that shit right there. I was like, look at this. Oh my God. I was like, dude, you let this fat mountain come in here and crack you like that, bro. But he was just overwhelmed. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't nothing he could do about the shit. He just got for low balloon, you know. Wasn't nothing he could do about it. Let me see. So, but these divisions right here, Crawford when he fought Madrimov, man, these fights were good, man. These are some good ass fights, y'all. Vergil Ortiz and Bohachuk. You know what I'm saying? These were the fights that brought me back, that inspired me to come back, start making videos, and watching sports closely. And this Murtazaliev, Bakham Murtazaliev. I like watching these guys because they come in prepared to fight. They come in prepared to fight. This dude, Bohachuk knocked down Vergil Ortiz twice. knocked them down twice. You know, so they ain't playing. They ain't playing, bro. They coming in for ass for real. They are not playing. You know. If we look at the super lightweight division, 140, got Tszyu with the WBO. Who was named the I think it was Zaya was named number one contender or something. I think he got the interim belt or something like that. That he's supposed to be behind the fight, next to fight Tszyu or something like that. And I think Vergil Ortiz was pissed off about that. Let's see, you got Sabrina Matias, WBC, Antoine, WBA, uh, no, WBC, and what's the WBA. So yeah, they need to go ahead and mix that on up and clear that division on out. Let me see. Who has the best chance? Yeah, probably Tio, probably beat all their ass, except for maybe Gary. Except for maybe Gary. I have to see that would be the matchup there. Gary, Antoine Russell, and Tio. I don't know why they just won't get that on. He said, "Have you noticed Tio calling out everyone but the fighters in his division because he's looking for big money fights?" That's the problem. What I have, man, it's like if you notice, everybody's looking for the novelty fight, and I understand because they're making more money, they get more viewership. If you fight a Jake Paul, it's more of a spectacle. Everybody want to fight these internet trolls. He said, "Have you noticed?" Oh, I read that. His Pebble can be, yeah, yeah. I agree with you, Doc Kent. I was watching that motherfucker. He got some nasty shots, bro. That boy got some nasty moves. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he throws a lot of punches. He moves well. That boy is dangerous. That fight with Matias was close. He said, "What's crazy is he fed himself. He fed himself." See what you was. It says air hitches. Yeah, he ain't got no pop. Yeah. He said Boots is gonna beat the brakes off of Ortiz. Well, if he take the fight, Vergil Ortiz got so many people he can fight, and he might just hold off that fight because that's one of them fights where it takes other fights out of you. You fight so hard, each fighter hits so hard, it takes other fights out of you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean? So I could see that fight taking about three fights out of the other fighter because they go to the body, they hit well, they hit hard. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be such an intense fight. He says, "Pool Counter, are you still on IG?" He said, "Also, is your account private?" He said, "I think I just followed your page to send the new Golden Boy heavyweight." Oh, Josh Edwards. I gotta look at that. Josh Edwards. Yeah, I'm still on IG. Yeah, I'm on IG. I rarely be on there though, but yeah, I be on there. I'm on there. JR says, Turkey says the Bakham fight was offered to me and he turned it down. I heard that. Said about us. Yeah, 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 yeah. You see what he did to Tim Tszyu? You saw what that boy did to Tim Tszyu? Oh shit, my goddamn computer about out of battery. I'm just talking. I don't have my cord, y'all. So we're gonna have to come back. I'm off for 5 days, so we're gonna be on this thing. We're gonna be on this thing. Wu Tang in this thing. Oh, that's Yin Yang. I'm so damn boy. I go back. He says, "Come on, fool." He says, "Oscar's not in a rush to put right. Put him in. Of course not." I think they said something like 3 years when he was at 147 before they talk about looking at boots and stuff. I was like, man, get the hell out of here with that bullshit. Get the hell out of here. But y'all, my battery about dead on this damn computer, and we're gonna come back tomorrow night, and we're gonna start picking it up, talking about these fights, and y'all come join. Put the word out. Full Counter Boxing is back, and we're gonna build. You're gonna keep on building on this boxing thing. 2 cents. Thank you for coming, Jr. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Hill. We're gonna be back in it. Dark Kid, Jr. Boxing in the building. You know what I'm saying. We're gonna come on back tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying, and crank it on up. And see you guys then. My damn battery about dead. You know what I'm saying, but I ain't got my cord, so. see you guys tomorrow night. We're gonna do it again about 10 or so, and see you guys then. You know what I'm saying? This has been Full Counter Boxing. You know what I'm saying? See you guys in the next. Smash that like button. All right, peace out, y'all.